Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, Jon Jordan. So in this video I'm just taking a quick look at some of the data around blockchain games and trying to draw some conclusions about kind of where we are in the industry at the moment and where we might be going. So pretty broad conclusions, but I think hopefully interesting ones. So what I've done here is I've taken some data. So I've looked at the daily active users. That's the axis along the bottom, the horizontal axis. And then I've looked at the average revenue per daily active user. Both of those are averaged figures from the 14th to the 20th of May, data taken from DAUs. So what can we see? Let's quickly run through. So at the kind of this end here, this bottom kind of right hand corner, we have two games. We have Blockchain Cuties, just over 400 DAUs, and about under $5 of revenue per DAU. And we also have 0x Universe, a bit more DAUs and slightly higher revenue as well. But we can see these two games have, at least in terms of what we graphed at the moment, have the highest number of DAUs, but they're have the least amount of revenue that they're generating. In contrast, over here we have very different sorts of experiences. So much smaller numbers of people playing these. In fact, these aren't really games that you play at the moment. So Gods Unchained is not out yet. So these kind of people are just buying Gods Unchained cards. So you can buy these decks of cards to be ready when the game comes out. So the game's been pretty high profile. It's generated over $5 million in this kind of pre-sale scenario that's been going on for a number of months now. So no great surprise, not many people, 50 people averaged here, but they are paying, they're having to buy these cards, whatever that's going to be, $12, $13 per person. Major League Baseball Champions, kind of broadly similar actually. So it's a game, it is live, but the game element of it isn't live yet. So this is kind of almost like in a pre-sale, so you can go and buy these collectible avatars of Major League Baseball players, real Major League Baseball players. They've got the license. So people are spending over $20, but again, not very many people are actually interacting with this at the moment, because kind of all you can do is buy these champion kind of collectibles. You can't do anything in terms of the gameplay, so you can go and trade them. So you can buy and sell them. They do have rarity value, but very different from these games down here. These are games that you can go and do stuff in the game. These are maybe games at some point. Hopefully will be games at some point, but at the moment these are much more kind of like marketplaces, and that's reflected in these very different number of users and the revenue they're playing. In the middle we have something in between the two. So we have Axie Infinity and CryptoKitties, two of the best known, I guess, blockchain games. Broadly similar sort of things, kind of collectible element to them, and then a metagame element to them. A bit more gameplay for Axie, but under 200 people daily, paying under $10 a day. I mean, it's still a reasonable sum of money. I suppose in terms of kind of what it is. CryptoKitties is a bigger game, more people playing it, spending a bit more as well. Obviously, it's been around for a year and a half now. Actually, it's been around for what are we now? Getting on for a year, I suppose. And this one here is kind of actually not a game. This is Auctionity. This is an auction kind of app experience, DApp, I should say, really, for NFT. So selling a lot of CryptoKitties. So makes sense. It's kind of sitting roughly in the same area. A bit more of a marketplace. It's not a game at all, but it's kind of living in this collectible thing, and it's obviously generating more money per user, because it's the things you would sell on something like Auctionity are kind of higher value CryptoKitties. So this is kind of broadly what we can see going on here. What's interesting, I suppose, is we have this the higher the ARPU or the ARPDAU, sorry, for the game, the lower the users and the higher the DAUs, the lower the revenue generated. So kind of I've not plotted loads of ones here. If we want to do like a proper analysis of this, we'd plot everything we could find. But broadly, we're seeing some trend like that. And in fact, we could go so far, and I will go so far as to do something like this. So I'm not saying this is exactly the case. We can go on and look at this a bit further. we can have we could say something like this. You can generate a large number of DAUs. Not that 400 is a lot, but you can generate large numbers of DAUs for blockchain games. But you kind of have this quite simple gameplay, and it's quite hard to drive value through the NFT economy. You can have these. I mean, they're not games, so complexity is probably not the right word. But you have these more marketplace type things where people are just buying and selling. There's a lot of speculation here, but it doesn't really attract a large audience. And then something in the middle, where you can have more users. Not too simple, not too complex. You can drive these high values, but it's harder to drive harder to make a bigger audience and harder to drive the value up. But this is only part of the picture, so we can look at some other dApps. So this is in some ways very different, in some ways very similar kind of graph. So this is some other dApps. What we can see here is the axes have got a lot bigger. So DAUs here are up to 3,000 for EOS Knights and 2,000 for My Crypto Heroes. What we're noticing, though, is kind of similar trend to before. These games have much bigger audiences, but very low revenue per user here. So we're still at the kind of $5 sort of range that we saw for blockchain cuties. Again, up here we have these really marketplace experiences. So OpenSea is a secondary marketplace for NFTs. So a lot of trading of Axie and CryptoKitties and loads of other stuff. Actually, quite a lot of My Crypto Heroes as well. So not many people doing this. This is a kind of a speculative type thing. You don't really care about the game so much. You care about the value of these NFTs and can you buy low and sell high, that sort of thing. So not many people involved. About 100 people in terms of this DAU. Obviously, we're taking the same time frame. But we're generating, these people are spending $150, or the transactions are $150 per transaction here. Cheese Wizards will be a game. At the moment, it's in pre-sale, so this just happened when I was tracking this data, so I thought I'd throw it in. So it's the next game from the CryptoKitties makers. They went for a pre-sale, they're going a week-long pre-sale. Again, it is like we saw with Gods Unchained and Major League Baseball Champions. Not many people involved, so 100 DAUs, but they're spending large sums of money in the hope that they can get these high-value Cheese Wizards. And the point of Cheese Wizards, it's a battle royale game, and the person who wins the Cheese Wizard tournament gets the prize pool, which at the moment I think is 455 ETH, so pretty substantial. So what happens when we put these ones together? Well, this was our little graph that we started off with, right down here. It's pretty small in comparison to these bigger things. And we could, if we kind of took our first conclusion, we could draw something like this. To some degree, it holds. I think we have this level of speculative kind of marketplace. Doesn't appeal to many people, but they happy to spend considerable sums of money. We have this idea that the bigger our audience, the harder it is to generate these large amounts of ARPU. So this line is probably wrong. And then in the middle, there's some sort of sweet spot. Quite how these lines are worked out, hard to tell. But this is kind of my gut feeling actually on the trajectory, on the gradient of those lines. Actually something more like this. So I think at the moment we don't actually have the sweet spot. Is something we don't have. This is unknown territory. We have this here. We have these sort of experiences. Could be games, could be kind of games pre-sale items, could be marketplaces, could be even kind of the auctionities of the world could kind of sit in there because they're driving high levels of spending, but really hard to increase their audience size, really hard to get into thousands of DAUs for these things. At the moment, the markets are just not interesting enough for a large number of people. The liquidity is not really there. The understanding of the market is not really there. So these kind of guys are locked to this kind of this axis, the vertical axis. Exactly similar here, opposite kind of approach on the horizontal axis. It's not easy, but it's not. You can see these blockchain games with thousands of DAUs. It's not like a free-to-play mobile game with millions of DAUs. We're not there yet, but thousands of DAUs is not bad. There's not many games have this level of audience, but it's really, really hard for them to get into this kind of higher daily revenue space. To get over $25, to get into $50 is really hard at this level, because suddenly you start making the games complex, you start making these things very valuable, and suddenly the audience is like, don't really care. So we have this, what I've kind of grayed out, put a big question mark in the middle. This is the sweet spot now, and we don't really have anything at this level, I don't think. I think there are products in development that could sit in there, that have the ability. They may be down kind of this size, or they may be kind of sitting quite close to this big red line. So the more you get, you're still not generating $100 of revenue a day from them, because that's hard to do. That's hard for any product to do. You need to be a pretty rich person to be spending $100 a day on this kind of stuff. But this is where blockchain games, this is the potential where they could end up, because you're spending $100 a day, but maybe you're selling stuff. You're selling $150 worth of stuff a day, and taking $50 out of the market, and then buying another $100. So the whole point of these kind of player-led economies is this is where we should be targeting at the moment. But this to me just shows how early blockchain games are, that we are really stuck to these axes. That's my opinion. Feel free to comment as well. Be interested to see what you think. Stick your opinions in the comments box below. But thanks for watching. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where we spend our time playing blockchain games, trying to work out what on earth is going on a lot of the time, because that's where we are in the industry. But it's a lot of fun. So if you're into blockchain games, please do subscribe to the channel. But thanks for watching this video, and hope to see you again soon.